Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is going to be the first episode of Makeup News and Views, which is going to be a new series here on my channel while I get ready and do my makeup whilst just chattering about everything and anything topical, events, entertainment, gossip, anything that has come up, whether it's reality TV, crazy beauty launches, or anything I'm reading. We're just going to be talking about all of the hot gossip and tea that is going around at the moment. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, so as per like all of my videos, like these sort of get ready chatty type of videos where I'm multitasking, I won't be sort of talking you through what I'm using or what I'm doing, but all of the makeup that I use today will be listed in the description box down below for you. And if you're wondering why my brows look a little bit crazy and I'm not putting product near them and they're quite shiny and severe today, I've literally just got home from my lamination appointment, so they are covered in castor oil and nice and shiny and freshly done, so I can't touch them, I can't get them wet, I can't do anything to them for 24 hours. So yes, I hear you, they're looking kind of wild, but we're just going to pretend we don't see it. So as this is hopefully, if you guys like this video format and style, this is going to be the first of many in a new series on my channel, because I just love to chat about this stuff and these topics, and you know, sometimes it's nice to give my friends' ears a rest and give yours a battering instead. And I know a lot of you guys love talking about these same topics as me, so I thought I'd chat with you about them and give everybody I know a little break from it, because not all of them love it as much as me. You know, at least you guys can mute me or fast forward or something. They can't, they don't have that option. So just to clarify, to make sure everybody's expectations are managed, when I say news, like the news part of this series, like don't expect like Newsnight, Panorama, you know, some kind of CNN episode, okay? You will be wildly disappointed. I'm talking more like the entertainment section of the Daily Mail app as opposed to the actual hard-hitting news. Less Victoria Derbyshire, more Vicky Pollard, if you will. Okay, so don't be expecting anything like hard hitting. Don't be expecting anything like to learn anything, okay? For goodness sake, don't expect that. You will definitely be wildly disappointed. So the first topic as an example of this, like think more so like reality TV, celebrity gossip, sports news and entertainment, TV and films that I've watched, books I've read. That's more like what we're going for here, okay? Like, calm down. I'm not some kind of journalist, you know? So first off, we're going to talk about Bake Off, okay? There's a spoiler coming up, but not for this week, for last week, okay? I'm not that cruel, but my precious Saku is gone. She's gone. I just loved her so much. She was my absolute fave this year, and it took me a while to pick a favourite this year. Typically, literally just based on like the launch photo alone, like this is who's in Bake Off this year, I can pick my favourite out just from that photo, because it's always the one who looks like a little bit deer in the headlights but cute. That's just my favourite. I love an underdog. I love an underdog who knows they're an underdog, but they're just rolling with it and they're just happy to be involved. That's where my favourites live. That's their vibe typically. And Saku, love her. She was just a delight and a joy, and she just always tickled me, whether she was like meaning to or not, who knows, but she was just so lovely and sweet and just loving every minute of it. She was never stressed. She even was just laughing at herself. Like a couple of weeks ago, she came out this absolute bang, like she got turned into a meme because she was just like, say goodbye guys, like you're never going to see me again. Whereas other people are literally weeping in the corner, Saku was just like, oh well, see you later guys, I'm out of here. But she wasn't, and to be fair to her, she probably stayed, as sad as I was to see her go, she probably stayed about 3 weeks like just on vibes. You know, I feel like she could have gone week 1. Actually, I feel like she did really well week 1. Maybe week 2 or 3 or 4 even. What week are we on? I can't remember. But I feel like she's literally had her fingernails on a ledge for a good few weeks, and I wouldn't have been surprised if she'd gone at any point in the last month, to be honest. I think it was fair that she went and it was her time, but it doesn't make me any less sad or that I will miss her any less. She was just a delight. We just absolutely love self-deprecating humour in this country, and she was just absolutely a beast at it, and I just love her for it. So yeah, she will be very sadly missed, and now I have to pick a new favourite, and I'm not sure who should it be. Let me know. Who's your favourite? Are they still in? I know a lot of you guys are American and you won't have seen it yet, so you get to live the joy of Saku all over again, and I envy you. And I know this is a bit of a spoiler, you know, you now know that Saku doesn't win, but I think if you watch the first episode you'll probably have already figured that one out, so it wasn't that bad of a spoiler, let's be honest. The next topic I thought we'd chat about, although I am uneducated on this, okay, I don't have the full tea, but we're going to talk about Kourtney. That's Kourtney Kardashian. I don't know why I'm saying like that. Kourtney Kardashian. Say it normally. People will think you've lost your mind. So Kourtney Kardashian apparently was taking on Tristan the toe rag in the most recent episode of the Kardashians. I haven't seen it, so that's why I'm saying I'm slightly uneducated. I don't know exactly the vibe of this confrontation and this row. I just literally saw the headline and thought, well, obviously, isn't it about time? So I thought we'd talk about this because, frankly, I find this disturbing that all of these sisters are like hanging about and befriending this man. Let me just tell you. Well, let's start at the beginning because a lot of you will probably know even less about this than I do. But Tristan Thompson, I like to call him Tristan the toe rag, but I think that's not his real name. I think his real name is Tristan Thompson. He is a basketball player, I want to say, is that correct? Who was or is the baby daddy of Khloe Kardashian. And he has very publicly been unfaithful to that woman about 76 times, okay? Most of that was many, who even knows what the true numbers are here that we're talking about. But he's cheated on her when she was pregnant. He's cheated on her while she's in the delivery room. He's cheated on her and had a baby with another woman while they were in the middle of a surrogacy. Don't know if it gets much worse. Let's be honest. So he's quite literally the dregs of mankind. He's out here like really taking the heat off David Beckham right now. I'll tell you that for nothing. Like Victoria has really let David right off the hook once she started hearing about Tristan. She was like, to be fair, you know, on the scale of the things that sportsmen get up to, you're a 1. Tristan is, there's probably even worse. Let's say he's a 9. I mean, maybe there's someone worse. Tell me, who's worse? Do we have anyone? Any nominations? So yeah, he is the absolute dregs of humanity. And some people would say, you know, you get them. No, what is it? You lose them how you get them. And apparently, you know, he cheated on his previous partner with Khloe. So yeah, there's a little bit of karma, I guess. But I also just don't think anyone deserves to be cheated on or treated like that, particularly when pregnant. So yeah, there is that. But Khloe did then go to take this man back multiple times, and he just kept on doing it over and over again. And I understand giving him, you know, a second chance, because obviously she'd already had his baby when she discovered the kind of toe rag that he was. So then it's like, oh, you know, there's the extra motivation to kind of make it work and believe that he can change and a baby is going to change him and all that good stuff that people tell themselves. But no, he didn't. In fact, he might have just continued to get worse and more ridiculous with it. So eventually she got the cut of his jib and she realised, okay, he's just never going to be faithful. And she decided instead to focus on a healthy co-parenting relationship. And whatever you say about those Kardashians, man, they're good at that, aren't they? They are very good at keeping healthy, friendly, relationships that are very positive for their children with all of their very many baby daddies. So I think that's admirable, particularly in Chloe's situation, because it must be quite the challenge. So, you know, fair play to her for that one. But as much as Chloe, you know, she has reasons why she would be civil and friendly and want to keep a positive environment for her children and a positive relationship between herself and Tristan. But I have to agree with the majority of the internet on this one. Why are her sisters, or most of her sisters, and her mum, her own mother, literally desperate to see these people back together in a relationship? I can't fathom it. I can't fathom it. And like I said, I haven't watched I think I watched the first episode of this new series and I haven't watched anything since, but I'm pretty shocked that this is being encouraged, because let me tell you, my my sort of teenage, early 20s boyfriend dumped me, and my mother, I mean, if looks could kill, whenever we saw this man, he'd have been dropped dead on the pavement, okay? Not a single chance would my family be like trying to persuade me to have anything to do with that man, and I find it really bizarre. So I'm pretty happy, actually, that Courtney is in fact treating him with the disdain and the hatred that I feel he really deserves to feel. And I get that, you know, maybe, I'm sure Chloe, you know, had a few words to say to him at the time, I'm sure. But she now is, you know, trying to treat him with kindness and grace for the sake of their kids, which I get. But let me tell you, if that was my sister, I would not be treating him with kindness and grace. He would be lucky to be breathing the air ever again. Let's be honest. I can't even tell you what I would do to my sister's husband if he ever did 1% of what that man has done to my sister. Absolutely, like his life would be ruined forever and I'd make sure of it. I'm just gonna say that. So fair play, Courtney, you're my favourite this week. Next up, let's talk about my latest film that I watched. I watched this on, I think, it was Sky Store, one of those where, you know, you pay to rent it, was called, so the film like this week that we watched together was called Cobweb. Have you seen it? You guys know I'm a big fan of a scary film. So it is a horror film, like a thriller. I like a sort of, I don't really like a slasher thriller. I like a sort of, it's got somewhat of a storyline, you know, there's some kind of tension, some kind of mystery, you know, think more like The Others, M. Night Shyamalan, as opposed to Scream. That type of scary film is like more my vibe, you know? So this film is about a little boy who starts to hear, like he starts off just hearing little tappings on the wall. You know where this is going. It's always like little noises, little bumps in the night, you know? They love to play on our childhood fears, these films. And then like a voice starts talking to him and he tells his parents, but they are like, no, you didn't hear anything, okay? They're not like, oh, don't worry, you know, it's probably just a dream, or it's the heating, or, you know, maybe there's a mouse in the loft. They are like, you didn't hear a thing, which leads me to believe they know he heard something and they know just what it is, you know? So that's kind of the premise of the film. What is this noise? Also, alongside of this, I don't want to give you any spoilers because I do quite like this film. I'm going to give it maybe a 6.5 out of 10. I didn't really think I was going to be doing ratings, but I'm going to go with it. And let me say, I'm a harsh marker, so I feel like a 6.5 sounds bad, but I did enjoy it. It had lots of twists and turns, jumpy, scary bits. It had some surprising elements to it. The acting was decent, budget was decent. I enjoyed it. It was very watchable. So yeah, it's scary. It's got some twists, some unexpected developments, and yeah, it was watchable for sure. Let me know if you've seen it, what your thoughts are on it. It wasn't like it changed my life or anything, but it was for sure watchable. You know, when you're at a loose end on a Thursday night. I've had a lot of questions about the book I'm reading. I like to share books on my Instagram mostly, but again, that's something I'm thinking I'm going to include in these videos. Just the current book I'm reading. And I know if you guys have been following me on Instagram, you'll probably already know, and you'll be thinking, wait, weren't you reading that like months ago or last month? And yes, I was. I've been reading this book for weeks. This is A Mother's Reckoning, and this was written by Sue Klebold, or Klebold, I think you pronounce her surname. So she was the mother of one of the Columbine massacre killers. So her son was Dylan Klebold, who was one of the Columbine massacre killers. So you guys know I'm a big true crime buff. I do love watching and reading true crime documentaries and stories. And this is not a sort of story about the massacre. It is much more of a sort of reflection of Sue's parenting, I guess. She very much is absolutely and was absolutely riddled, as I think you absolutely naturally would be regardless of the circumstances, with guilt and horror and shame and shock and mourning for what her son did. And she is quite adamant that she had basically no idea whatsoever that this was ever coming, that Dylan was suicidal, which he was, as well as being full of hatred and rage and anger for his life and the way he was being treated and everything else. But she had no idea about any of it, and she is quite clear and adamant that, you know, that's her failing as a mother, I suppose. And there's lots of reasons he was very good at hiding it, and he did on the surface, apart from maybe a couple of sort of smaller red flags with the benefit of hindsight, that, you know, that he really wasn't exhibiting, I guess, the more cliche typical behaviors of other school shooters. So she wrote this book to essentially share her story, share where she feels things that she missed, things that maybe other people can learn from, and lessons that we can learn from, like her mistakes, and the few things that maybe, like I said, with the benefit of hindsight, might have been red flags. Because she feels like school shooters are kind of portrayed as this type of person, and they're exhibiting this kind of behaviours. You know, there is this quite cliche, but also based off of, you know, facts and common denominators between a lot of school shooters. You know, they might be gun obsessed, they might be from families who own and like guns, with access certainly to guns. They also typically love, you know, violent computer games. They might get in a lot of trouble at school. They are, you know, knowingly bullied, unpopular kids. A lot of them like, whether it's like heavy metal or dark rap music, that gets brought up a lot, you know, band t-shirts, maybe goth clothing. That's like your sort of stereotypical school shooter. And she sort of feels it's important to share everything that she knows and what she knew of Dylan, because it doesn't really fit the stereotypical narrative. You know, he was never really in trouble. He wasn't a trouble boy. He did very well at school. He had good, nice circle of friends, a supportive, loving family, a happy home. He wasn't really into the things that a lot of people, school shooters, typically are. He didn't exhibit a lot of the behaviours, or certainly not that she was aware of, that people say to look out for. So she kind of feels like it's her duty to share actually what it looked like for her and for Dylan, to hopefully just get people thinking it doesn't always look exactly like that. It doesn't always look like this stereotyped cliche, because we should all be on the lookout for these behaviours, not just because, you know, it's going to end in a school shooting, because, you know, clearly, you know, 99.9% of the time, it's never going to end like that. But a lot of these behaviours also stem from depression or poor mental health, suicidal feelings. So that's why she sort of wrote this book, to share that it doesn't always look like what you might expect. Sometimes it's hidden better. Sometimes the child is just not your stereotypical child that you say, oh, we all saw this coming, because nobody saw it coming when it came to Dylan, or at least that's how Sue herself feels. So I have been struggling with this book. I've been reading it, like I said, for weeks and weeks, and I'm really struggling to sort of get through it. I'm about half the way through. I think I'm about 50% of the way through now, and it has been very interesting, very eye-opening. It's made me like angry at times, a lot of the time. It's not, like I said, really focused on the crime, so you don't have to worry about, you know, that it does touch on it here and there. So if you really feel like that's just too upsetting, then I wouldn't read it. But it isn't a lot of detail about the crime. It's mostly focused on Dylan's behaviour as a child, his childhood, and then the aftermath of everything, and what Sue did, how she got through everything, and the choices that she made. And there's certainly things in the book that I'm like, oh, I wish that had been done differently, or that I can't relate to, or is shocking to me. And it's just overwhelmingly sad on all levels. It's incredibly sad. And I think we can all learn something from it, especially as parents. But it is a hard, tough read. So it is taking me a long time to get through it, but I think I will. And it's weird to say I'm enjoying it, because it's not an enjoyable read. You know, it is a very tough read, but I think it's a really important one, and I'm definitely learning a lot. So that's my current book. A film I'm really excited to see this month, or is it this month, in the next few weeks, is the new Hunger Games film. This is the only Hunger Games franchise book that I have not read. I read all the main Hunger Games stories, but this is the prequel, so it's a totally different cast, which I was a bit sad about, because I do love me some Jennifer Lawrence. But I am excited because I haven't read the book, so I have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to be completely surprising to me. And if you guys know, if you watched my turning 40 video where I spoke about what I want to change and get better at as I'm approaching 40, one of my big goals is to start doing things on my own and for myself more. And that is going to be my first film. I'm going to commit to it now. I'm putting it in this video, so I have to do it. I'm going to go and watch that film by myself, because it's definitely like too grown up for my daughter. She's only 9, so I can't take her to it. I think it's too old for her. And my husband isn't obviously a big like Hunger Games fan, so that is definitely one that I can go and watch on my own. It's not too scary to see by myself, and it's not something that, you know, any of my family want to see with me. So I'm gonna go and do it, and that's my promise to you guys. I'm starting my resolutions. I'm gonna go and see that one on my own. I'm super excited about it. So that's going to be my little first solo cinema trip. I'll report back on how it goes. The next thing I've been watching reality TV wise is MAFS. If you are not in the know, MAFS is the Married at First Sight series. I'm obsessed with both the Aussie version and the UK version. And the UK version is literally coming to an end. I think the last episode will have probably gone up by the time I'm filming this. Oh my gosh, it's always dramatic, but it's probably been the most dramatic ever, this series, and the most ridiculous moments ever have come out of it. It's quite honestly insane. There are these 2 women on TikTok who do a series like taking the mickey out of the maths experts and how they pair people up, and I'm not being funny, they're not far off. There was a couple this series who were put together where the woman absolutely doesn't want to have children and the man does, and I feel like sometimes you're like, you know, maybe they have different morals or different religious beliefs and you can overcome that. Like, I know you can, because I know couples who have, but that, I mean, I feel like if you literally asked 2 people that one question and they have a different answer, that's the end of it. Okay, that's like literally the most important question to ask before you get married. So that really just sold it for me, that they actually definitely don't care. They don't care about these couples' long-term compatibility, or they definitely would have ensured that they both had the same answer to that one question that is an absolute necessity. My favourite couple this series, the entire way through, my absolute favourite couple this entire series, right until like the last couple of weeks, was Tasha and Paul. They were my favourites the entire time. And then a few weeks ago, Tasha just really started to let herself down, and I'm really sad about it. I feel like she's slightly redeemed herself now, but she definitely started being like a mean girl for a few weeks, and that made me a bit sad. So I feel like at this point, with like a week left, there is no longer a single couple that I would like put £1 on making it to the end of the month. They are all basically done at this point. I feel like maybe there might be one couple that makes it till Christmas, but I think this has been the least successful yet dramatic series I ever remember seeing. Is it yours? I mean, they've had a bit of everything. Of course, they always have to have an affair. I feel like that's like, you know, a part of the programme at this point. That's a given. But yeah, the rest, I mean, the drama, the parents hating partners, telling people to ditch them. There's just secrets and lies and discoveries the entire way through, fallings out. It's just been a roller coaster, hasn't it? I'd like to tell you who my favourite couple are, but I don't like any of them anymore at this point. We're done. That's just the way it's kind of gone. Again, I would have said Roz and Thomas until about a week ago. I really was rooting for them, but now that's gone down the drain as well, so an utter disaster. Now I'm practically ready, but before I go, I've got to talk to you about Dior releasing a range of baby skincare products and a perfume for babies. I've got to talk to you about it. I don't know who else I can talk to about this that will have any level of understanding about what on earth is going on. I have to say, when I heard about this and I saw the initial advert, I fully had to check my calendar for a second, because I was absolutely convinced that this has to be an April Fool's. This literally reeks of April Fool's, doesn't it? I mean, even down to the images of these children, like the marketing images. These children look extremely like terrified and uncomfortable. I don't think in any way these kids are giving I'm loving being here and I smell incredible and I'm just loving these products. I think they look really sad and confused and like they'd love a bit of colour in their outfit. That's what these photos are telling me. They're certainly not making me feel like they're loving being here and they're loving playing with these products. I just don't know what this marketing is supposed to say. I know that high-end luxury brands like to go down a very serious, you know, no emotion, no expression on the face kind of model route, but I wasn't sure we were extending that to children and babies, who I feel like should always look happy and like they're having a nice time. These don't, and I think they're saying everything that we need to know about these products. Now, I have actually read a bit about this. The bath bubbles and like the moisturiser I'm okay with, because, you know, we all put a bit of bubble bath in when we're giving the kids a bath. I mean, do I want to spend like £90 on bubble bath when my toddlers and babies were still peeing in the bath every day? No, I don't. I'm much happier with a bit of like Johnson's bedtime or something, but fine, if you do want to have bougie baby bubbles, then sure, you know, good for you. Where I have to draw the line, it's the baby perfume. They're calling it scented water, which I think is supposed to make it sound better than calling it perfume for babies. But if anything, it sounds worse. Scented water. And it costs £230, which is the same price as their like adult grown-up perfumes. It's not like it's, you know, £30 or £40 for a bit of scented water. But at the end of the day, babies and children, literally newborn baby is well known to be the best smell that you can ever find. Who wants to change the scent or the smell of their like newborn baby and spray it with Dior to make it smell a certain way? It's horrifying to me. I can't understand it. And they are saying that, you know, it's alcohol free. They're trying to sell it to me like it's not going to hurt the baby, but they are breathing in, you know, a fragrance, and you're making them smell a certain way. And a lot of children have, you know, very sensitive skin. A lot of babies, you know, have eczema and dry skin and things. And that just, I mean, can it be as good as not doing it? I don't think it can be. And it's also just the messaging, the whole message of this, that, you know, your natural fragrance isn't good enough. We need to spray you and make you smell pretty. And there's even like a girl's one and a boy's one. And that's not how they're selling it, but one is pink and one is blue. So Yeah, we're also doing the this is what girls smell like and this is what boys smell like to babies. The whole thing is, I can't believe it's 2023 and this is actually serious product that people are buying. It's wildly concerning to me. Is that just me or am I overthinking it? Let me know. I just could never in a million years think of spraying perfume on not even like my 9-year-old who sometimes likes to come and borrow my perfumes, which is fine if it comes from her. But we're talking about toddlers and babies, and especially having fragrances for them to get them to smell a certain way. It's sick and wrong, if you ask me, but what do I know? I am far more interested in what you guys think about this. Did you know about this? Have you heard about this? Would you buy it for your baby? Please let me know what your thoughts are, and not just on the Dior baby, but let me know on all of it. What are your thoughts on Bake Off? Who is your favourite? What films have you watched? What books are we reading? Let me know all of your recommendations. How did you feel about this video? Should we make this a series? Should it continue? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. But I hope you enjoyed this first video of this new potential series, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.